The truth is an irony, just like animal farm. Justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence. Islamic leaders silence. Kings and queens silence. Traditional leaders silence. So who go say the truth? We are them go so confused the call. Now by area why no better. We are them go so confused the call. One guy's out here why no better. Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, he need it now, see what I see so. Now your friend on a night come at them. Only papi obeka na sembia. So I want to obet you too. Everybody was afraid. And when Tina to my cottage again, once my boy dumping one and but who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien peso beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Anya safwe muayini. Akukudro for nyina dalima. And who go say the truth? Obiaja konson so to croach a mansa to me be a cacobrafo. If I nyina ye. If when you know yet, now so could trata down so be their back or why no cake. I feel for the man more piafo, no cross on my move. Hanya safwe, moine. I could draw for you now, darling. And who go say the truth? Abaya de bote, Yadi be bebo nyande be. Kachisa would your mouth pipinuma. Would your mind never shine my frafonsa? But who go tell the truth? TUC silence. Even journalists silence. Oh, then who go say the truth? Right is right. Wrong is wrong, no matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption. Someone want to help you, now the person become your target. Jobless no they mean senseless. Poverty no they mean useless. One day them go resist.
A very good evening to you wherever you are. It's always a pleasure to welcome you on every Monday evening on our socio-political program, MyView. It is my pleasure once again to inform you that we are coming to you live on today's Ghana News TV. My name is Jerome, your usual host, and gladly as it is, we are on by switch, by satellite, and on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and all on today's Ghana News TV. We are equally live on Han FM 98.7, the bright light of Easton, and King's Radio in Accra. King's Radio can be found on TuneIn or myradio.com. You can equally follow us on Twitter and TikTok, as well as podcast on Anchor FM. To our viewers all the way in the northern region, via Sakina Information Center in Tatali, you can join the show. And greetings to our people in the Oti region via Jaframa TV and Ravra. Wherever you are, it's always a pleasure to welcome that together we share our views on pertinent issues pertaining to our home country, Ghana. Commuting and home buying decisions is what we want to look at, and look at the role of the real estate developer in Ghana. You would realize that the central role of housing in our socio-economic development among nations has made a lot of governments across the world to play a significant direct or indirect role in improving the housing industry for national development. How does the real estate developer come into play if governments are taking it as a main agenda to improve its housing deficits across the country? We want to have an interaction today to see if the cost of any housing facility has anything to do with where it is situated, and how does that influence the decision of the individual in going in to get it. So once again, it's my pleasure to welcome you to my view show on Today's Ghana News TV. Stay tuned, and when I come back, I would introduce to you the guest for this evening's program, and then we take it from there. But wherever you are, equally share the link that many more people will come to have an understanding of the real estate business in Ghana and how it can impact in their lives. Once again, you are welcome to the program. Stay tuned.
Yo, Yamamu Ajo Esan Emamu Akaba Edubano Kerme Ding Edi Antonia Kipa Ipa Ania de Nukreno Atubibia Ewose Edda.
Tune in on Today's Ghana News TV on our usual socio-political show, MyView.
Jumedi and Today Ghana News TV so on Today Ghana News TV Ubenya live on YouTube.
Nyame ase and then so I ready person in we share Today Ghana News TV kasafidie so.
Today Ghana News TV, we are the masters of the game.
Wonderful, and welcome back. As I did indicate, we are looking at commuting and home buying decision making in Ghana, the role of the real estate developer. And it's a privilege, once again, that we have in our midst a very well-established personality in the real estate business in Ghana, who will share his views and the way the real estate business is going in Ghana, and then the way out for all of us. It's my privilege to welcome onto the show Mr. Mawuli Kosi Senyo. He happens to be the Chief Executive Officer of SENCO Global Developers Limited. You are most welcome to the program. I know we have a little technical challenge, and my producer might have to look at it again, and let's see. But whilst we are working on it, the World Bank report seems to suggest that government of developing countries
Thank you very much,
reduced
sir. And good evening
their
to your viewers
involvement in
and
the provision
listeners.
of housing to the creation of an enabling environment as a result of advice from the World Bank, definitely. So government itself is not playing a greater role, but they only create the enabling environment, or the environment that will allow the individuals to go into the real estate market. So we will have Mr. Senyo to tell us a bit. I do not know if he's with the government side or he's in the private business. And then we see how government supports them in their business as providers for housing schemes within the nation. And you know, the difficulty in ourselves is that Ghana, we running a very huge deficit, housing deficits, and therefore government alone might not be able to provide the necessary housing schemes to accommodate its citizens. And therefore, private sector will definitely have to, will have a role or definitely have a role to play. And that is why we are having this discussion and want to see how easy or how difficult it is to get a housing project by private real estate developers. But I still believe that Mr. Senor is still having a problem. Okay, Mr. Senor, if you are part of us, you are most welcome. I'm wondering if you are hearing me.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, please.
Okay, I think the internet situation at my end is very worrying.
Yeah, we can feel it. We can feel it. It is not so stable. It's not so stable. The producer, can you give us a musical break whilst we check on his technical connections, so that we'll see how best we can find our way out. And as I did indicate, there appears to be failing due to the challenges that we find ourselves in. And consequently or subsequently, the entire Ghanaian housing sector has been left to private developers who have very limited capacity to address the country's rising housing deficit, among other challenges. And when the little is provided, it seems that there is a lot that is factored into the cost, and therefore the lower income range people are often cut off the system altogether. If you want to compare to our friends in the developed world, where they have a lot of other advantages, or they have a lot of other means by which housing could be provided or housing is provided, then we realize that there is still a lot left to be desired when it comes to developing countries and Ghana as a whole. So we're still trying our possible best to have him in here, and then we want to look at it. How is it? Is it better to rent, or is better to mortgage, or find a way to put a structure to cover your head? Mr. Senor, can you hear me?
Okay, I think I can hear you now.
Okay, you are most welcome.
Can you hear me too? Thank you very much.
Wow. And a lot of viewers will want to find out who Mr. Senor is, because I've already indicated that CEO of the SENCO Global Developers Limited. I'm sure you have a little more to add to us as to who you are and your role in the real estate sector.
Thank you very much. Like you mentioned earlier, my name is Mauli Kosi Senyo, the CEO of SENCO Global Developers Limited. And I also head the SENCO Properties and Investment Limited. I'm currently the group chairman of SENCO Group of Companies.
Wow. This is mouthful. Well, we will have to look at it. We're more interested in the real estate sector now. And then
exactly.
Somebody might be interested or be wondering what is all about real estate, because somebody might not even understand what you do when it comes to real estate. People hear real estate, we hear real estate developers, private sector developers, all those things. Well, what is real estate, and How does that come into our daily lives?
Okay, thank you very much. Real estate development and a developer is basically which provides. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, building a community which provides basic social amenities and infrastructure for our daily to support our daily lives. We're talking about housing, we're talking about road infrastructure, we're talking about a good drainage system, we're talking about maybe internet facility, and then a good waste disposal system. So when you, and then energy of course, which is what provide us our daily, to power our daily lives. So when you are into the business of building a community that has this basic infrastructure and amenities for individuals who have interest in such to be part of that community, basically that is the real estate development. There is a little distinction between real estate development and then building construction and road construction. Now, when you look at building construction as a developer, building construction basically means that you, as the host, Mr. Jerome, you have your piece of land, a parcel of land, which is one plot, and you want to develop it to build your dream home. So when you invite an engineer or a building contractor or an estate developer to put up that particular building for you, which involves the work of plumbers, the work of masons, carpenters, painters, tilers, POP, Andre, roofing, and everything, electrical engineering. That is what is meant by building construction. But really, hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, your line was breaking, but I'm sure.
Yeah, it goes beyond that, where where the developer has to invest more beyond building just a single house to trying to construct roads in the community, try to build a wall around it to provide security, try to do a good drainage system, try to extend electricity to the community. That alone, that's a whole, building a whole community. That is actually the real estate development.
Okay.
So most often people would like to, because of the nature of cosmopolitan nature of our environment now, people will want a more secured and more serene environment where there is no much noise, where there's no much external human interference in their daily lives. So they will prefer to have buildings in a very well-planned environment or community. That is why some will opt for having buildings in what is called gated community or townhouses.
So basically, your group, for instance, if like with your explanation, it means that you are more into these gated communities that people can go in there and then have access to these structures. Is that right?
Yeah, we are into both.
Okay.
Because we understand the needs of our customers, that not many people may be able to afford to buy houses in a gated community. And some already might have their land registered in their name, or some might have a family land given to them. And they will want to put their dream homes on such lands. So we also provide that service of constructing such buildings to them. And some might say that why you as a company don't leave that to the hands of maybe contractors that we normally say, oh, this man is a mason and all that. But we are growing into an era where we must build our structures to meet certain international standards, where we as a company that have an image to protect, we know that when we do a very poor job for you, we have an image there out there that may not augur well for our company. So we ensure that we put all the necessary, we factor all the necessary and then standard requirements in place while putting up your structure. The difference here will be that when we as a company build that house for you, it will stand a test of time, other than someone who is just an individual, don't have an image to protect, to build a similar building for you. For example, someone might say that, okay, roadside contractor that they normally call, they will say that, okay, bring me 1,000 Ghana cedis, I'll be able to build this house for you. But a company who wants an image, who has an image to protect, will tell you that 1,000 Ghana will not be able to deliver a quality job, because when you invest that money to build a house is not like a product you can buy and then when maybe next 2-3 years you test it is not good, you go and change it. A house is built to take you for a lifetime, some 50 years, 60 years, 100 years. Even some houses can last for as long as 150 years. So that is why we think that adding that to our services will help provide quality but affordable services for the general public. Hence, we open our basket for all class of customers.
Yeah, in your delivery, you brought a very important word, affordable. Affordable. Where we sit, what would you call affordable?
Okay, affordability first can be defined as based on someone's income status vis-a-vis the value for what the person is looking for. For example, you might have a quality product you are selling at 100 Ghana cedis, but someone may sell the same product at 80 Ghana cedis, not because the product is inferior, but it's because someone is targeting a higher profit and another one is targeting a smaller margin profit because the person understands the need of the customer. So that is where affordability comes in. So generally, when you look at the general, income level of Ghanaians, you will realize that the population is classified in different earning categories. So when you put up a structure that can also benefit or can also meet the earning levels of the majority of the people, you can call that affordable.
Wow. Let me come to you directly. What are some of the terms that you usually go into if you want to, if somebody wants your services? For instance, I have, just you rightly said, I have my piece of land and I want the structure put up there. Then I come to you. What are the considerations that you usually make in arriving at an affordable cost for the customer?
Hello?
Oh, yeah. I hope you make.
Okay.
Yeah.
The factors that contribute to the cost first depends on your structure or your architecture drawing.
Okay.
So the architecture drawing has two main structures. I would just like to, the layman's understanding, building plan. So some people will call you that, oh, I want to put up a 3-bedroom house. How much will that cost me? Me sitting down here, I might not be able to tell you how much that 3-bedroom house will cost you until I see the drawing, the plan, because the plan will tell me that the room sizes of all the houses will be this dimension. I want maybe my, how do you call it, a walk-in closet. I want my bathrooms and then the sanitary to be this. The finishing, I want these particular tiles. I want POP. I want these doors. I want these particular doors. So these are the individual components that constitutes the cost component of a building. So the first thing we will ask you, if you have your land already and want to put up your building, is whether you have a building plan, which is the architectural drawing. If it's a story building, we will also request for the structural drawing. The structural drawing and then the plumbing, mechanical engineering, and the electrical drawing, all these things, we will study it and use it to calculate the cost for you before you'll be able to know how much it will cost you to put up a particular building. Because one person can build 3-bedroom house at the cost of 800,000. Another person will build the same 3-bedroom house, maybe with different features, as 1.5 million. The same 3-bedroom house, someone can build it with even 350,000 Ghana cedis. But the difference in the cost depends on the kind of features and then the sizes of your building.
Okay. It looks as if, I don't know, but it looks as if when we talk about real estate market or developments in the country, it's more or less just limited to the very big cities. Have we gone beyond the big cities? Because you said you are looking at the needs of the people, the needs of the customers. So here we are. We all along, as soon as we hear real estate developers and their provisions, it's only limited to the big cities. Have we gone beyond the big cities now?
Yes, we have actually gone beyond the big cities. We are currently putting up what we call SENCO City at Winneba.
Okay.
Winneba is a growing community, a growing business center, and it's actually a 45-acre land project, which when you go to our website, you see clearly the site, the layout, the community, and the proposed amenity. We want to do a smart city there because we realize that the city, the main city, which is Accra, is developing. And very soon, when infrastructure develops in terms of road infrastructure, railway infrastructure, people can even be at Winneba and be working in Accra. You know, let me quickly pause this and address an issue you were saying earlier with respect to government role in this real estate business and private developers in real estate business. You see, what to make this real estate industries thrive and solve the very problems that Ghana is facing or government is facing, try to, bridge the housing deficit gap, is when government focus on providing public infrastructure. For example, you have a vast land in maybe like Winneba Junction where we want to build SENCO City. What government should be doing is that just extend electricity there, just do the road there, just extend Ghana Water there. These three things alone is enough for the citizens themselves to build that community. But once government deviates from providing the basic infrastructure, which are public goods, and focusing on other things, then it can make development of the country very slow. Because when you look at development of cities and then the country, government, individual and private sector investment is more than what government does in terms of building some of these housing units. So if governments across Africa really wants the real estate industry to thrive so that the housing deficits can be solved, all government needs to do is to focus on road, extending road to even hinterland, electricity, and water. Because in our real estate industry, what determines the price of our houses and how quickly we sell our houses is the kind of infrastructure that is in the area. You can build a very nice, very beautiful house somewhere, but if the road, the access to that building is very poor, you may not get any market for it. But if you have a very good road, you have electricity, you have water, whatsoever houses you build, even no matter how far it is from the main city, people will buy it. So we are in Winneba Junction, like I'm saying, and we ourselves are trying to do even the roads. We are engaging the engineer, our engineer. We are going to extend our road to our land because we believe that that particular area can be a smart city. We want to extend electricity ourselves. We want to extend Ghana Water. We want to do the road, the drainage, and also extend internet access. And when you look at our layout, we want to also have apartment there, high-rise apartment, not high-rise, but at least 10 floors, to 6 floors apartment, and have office complex there. So, for example, the multinational companies can rent, an office there and also rent apartment there for their staff because they are guaranteed of a 24-hour energy, and then also guarantee with security, and also because there is a housing available for their staff. They don't have to commute from maybe being a long distance traffic to their workplace. So that becomes a smart city where people can access basic amenities, work in the same area, because we also have recreational centers, even African wrestling center will be there. So all these things in that particular area makes the whole place a lively place to live. We also have a plan for Somanya. We are also building a similar project in Somanya, but on just 5 acres. Then we also target Abo in the Volta region, and then Adaku.
Yeah, in fact, Somanya, I think it's a good thing because the University of Sustainability is rising up there, and we usually know the difficulties, especially with the lecturers and all that. But let me get this clear. It looks as if some people say, I don't know your opinion on it. Some people believe that in Ghana we are wasting land because all our structures we are putting up, people take a piece of land, 3 plots or how many, whatever it is, and put just a simple building on it. When with increase in population, a time will come that will be very difficult for us to obtain land. Unlike other areas, if you move to places like China and the rest, they all have these high-rising structures that could minimize or economize the piece of land that is available to them. Do you share the same opinion?
Yes. So yes or no? We are actually not wasting land, but just that we are developing in a horizontal model. They develop well, they are developing vertically. We are developing horizontally. Every developing society expands horizontally because of your revenue base, your income, the income that you earn, because of the size of your economy. Now, when you look at Ghana and where we are growing towards, it will be difficult for a single individual to be able to put up a high-rise building, considering the cost involved, right? But the same individual can buy a land and put up 2 or 3 bedroom house. The beauty of the thing is that you can buy land and wait for the land to get value, but you can't wait to buy the same land. If you buy a land and put up even 3 or 4 bedroom house on that land and secure it, when in the future you can equally sell that land for high-rise development, for development horizontally, vertically. So yes, we are wasting the land now because we are trying to develop horizontally because that is what we can afford. But a time will come when you look at what the development in Accra now, you will realize that all these old areas like Osu, the core business district of Accra now, they are now springing up with high-rise building. Why? Because people are selling their old houses, where they live, their old houses, to private developers who have the ability and the capacity to be able to develop high-rise buildings. So once you are able to secure your land through these horizontal means, definitely a time will come that we will also develop vertically. That is why I say that the rest of the world is now on the shoulders of Africa, because when it comes to development, Africa is very green in the sense that we are still growing. We haven't even reached any stage yet. In Ghana, the tallest building in Ghana is just 25 floors, which is Villaggio, right?
Yeah.
By the time will come very soon, we will have a lot of these high-rise buildings springing across the city. Now, one of the very important things that our government officials and state institutions need to be looking at is that day in, day out, we are having a growth in population. Businesses are springing up. The demand for energy and then the roads are going up, leading to huge traffic congestion. Government must also be focusing on establishing interchanges and think about other ways of transport so that it can also help reduce the traffic congestion in the city. That is what will motivate other private individuals to invest in this kind of high-rise building. Hence, we will also get there.
Wow. Let me come back to you personally. In this business, the real estate, are there challenges? In Ghana, are there challenges?
Very huge challenges. Any area, even drinking just pure water comes with a challenge. How much more putting up a real estate business? There are huge challenges. The first challenge is the inability of people to understand the industry and how the industry works. So that, lack of understanding of the industry between the customer and then the developer, that alone brings a whole confusion. When you look at the many conflict situations we have across Africa or the world, results from a basic misunderstanding or lack of communication or gap in communication, where one party will feel cheated and the other party will feel that, this person wants to take advantage of me. Probably it might not be so because they don't understand the dynamics. So that is the first challenge. And then the other challenge is that anywhere that huge money flows or big money flows positively, there's also the high possibility of people taking advantage of it to commit series of crimes, in the sense that people may not have what it takes to deliver what they want to deliver, but intentionally they just want to take advantage of the fact that you are a real estate developer and they want to defraud you, right? So there are a lot of challenges in the sector. But you see, if you want to only look at the challenges, which is the threat, and want to stop, then you may never develop. Anywhere there is a challenge, once you are trying to find solution to those challenges by focusing on the opportunities and the strength you have, you by all means overcome those challenges and bring a positive result to solve a basic problem for which you have established as a company.
Wow. SENCO Global Developers. I hope I got it right. What are some of your success stories that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so our success stories are enormous in the sense that we started as a small business, and then we are now able to have some properties to our credit and building a customer base. We are actually trying to build a global brand which will stand the test of time, in the sense that just like many other multinational companies, SENCO wants to become one of the global icons in not only in the real estate industry, but in the business global space. And we can say that looking at where we started from and where we have reached, we have made some successes. But of course, our expectations are that we want to be able to expand beyond the borders of Ghana and then into other African countries.
Wow, that's good to hear because picking up, we know that we are reading every day that the real estate market in Ghana is expected to grow very significantly in the coming years. So if you are already not targeting only Ghana, but beyond the limits of Ghana and Africa as a whole, it's a good thing. But let me come back. Over the years, all the challenges that you have given, I have followed it clearly. But over the years, government in and out has always gotten policies on housing for the nation, especially for our security services and for all other government workers in particular. What could it be? How is the relationship between government and the real estate developers? Because most of these policies that they want to run, they look outside Ghana for developers to cater for them.
Yes, you see, our problem is basically because of our economic capacity as a country. Now, we are not able to focus on local, content in the real estate industry because, for example, if a government wants to invest heavily in the industry, for example, putting up a high-rise buildings, or even putting up a whole community, government need to do investment. Now, because government don't have enough money to do some of these investments, they fall on foreign donors and foreign agencies to give grants, and then even foreign countries to give them grant facilities. Now, in return, some of these grants come with conditions, in the sense that when we are giving you money to go and build roads, maybe because government target of extending maybe a road infrastructure to this, give the business to our contractors from our country. So that alone ties government's hand in such a way that they may not be able to give some of this contract to the local contractors. Now, this thing is happening partly because in some instances, we can also say that some of these things are fueled by the corruption in the government sector, in the sense that because some of the government officials who would want to, approve some of these contracts and all that, feel that when they give such contracts to the local folks, they might not be able to get the personal benefits they want to get. So they in turn, shift it to people they feel, or outside they feel that they might be able to get a bigger kickback from them. Sometimes some of these things happen. So at the end of the day, it's hindering progress in the industry. You see, if successive governments have acted more smartly enough, they may not have indirectly have to involve themselves in the development, in the sense that, for example, let's look at government trying to build maybe the second Accra city. Now, the second city, maybe in Accra, government can say that let's extend road, electricity, and water to that area. Let's open up the area for private developers and give maybe each private developer to bid for 10 acre houses. Bring your layout, bring your plan. Government provides the land. Let's enter into joint venture agreement with these private developers, where the private developers will build the houses, government will have a share in it, the private developers will also have a share in it. That alone is enough to, whip up the interest of the private investment into the real estate in the industry. But government is not acting smartly. Let's take some of the security services, for example, police service, prison service. When you look at the places some of them sleep and then in the barracks is very, very unbelievable that people that risk their life to protect us in the day, during the night, they go home to rest, and the place they live in is nothing to write home about. What can government do? government can involve private developers like us and say that, look, we want to transform this maybe cantonment police barracks into a modern infrastructure. We have the land. Do you have what it takes to raise funds to put up this building for rent? Now, when you put up this building, you put up this bill, some of the private developers can bid and offer to build some of these apartment high-rise apartment, even if it's 10 floors. Once the private developer is guaranteed that they can also have a number of floors to themselves that they can also rent and make money out of it, the private developer will invest. But government is not thinking into some of these directions. That is making us lose a lot of sight in the situation in the housing industry, hence increasing our housing deficit. Also, we are not investing enough into, industries, in the sense that if government is also giving a lot of incentives through the banks to industries to be able to span to the rural areas, there may not be the need for a lot of people, having to commute to or trying to migrate to the cities to be able to seek for greener pastures. Once you extend hands to a rural cottage or cottage industry, they also grow. Definitely, real estate developers will also want to build some of their houses close to those business areas. When you look at where we are building SENCO City at Winneba Junction, we share the same boundary with Casa de Rupa. Casa de Rupa is one of the 1D, 1F, companies. But us ourselves, if you look at the huge investment that goes there, ask yourself when you go there now, how many workers do they have? They don't have what it takes to be able to build a company in such a way that people will want accommodation around the area. So because of this, everybody wants to move to Accra for greener pastures, hence making congestion in Accra and things overly expensive in Accra.
Wow. Let me allow you to relax a bit and I'll take comments from our viewers. And afterwards, we come back and look at the cost involvement and if an individual wants to reach out to you, your company, how things could be done. So we want to take the views from our followers. This is today's Ghana News TV, MyView show, coming to you live this and every Monday in the evening. And today we're looking at the real estate sector in Ghana. So we'll take the views coming from our followers. Oh, Jaframa TV, greetings from Rara in the OT region. We are grateful that you are part of the show and you are sharing our feed with others. And Sikapa family, I love today's topic. Please, my question is estate companies only available in the urban town? I'm watching from, well, he has already answered that question. They've gone beyond the urban centers and then the rural areas as well. So he's even giving some rural areas in the Volta region and in the central region they are working on. Questions here. Watching from Koforidua, Anglo Town. We're grateful, Kwesi, that you're part of the show. Albert Alandachia, alias Ghana. This is a very important and relevant topic, especially with the huge housing deficit in rural and urban Ghana. Can the private sector play a role in social housing provision in Ghana? When he comes back to Ghana, I will ask him if the private sector can play that role. Frimpong says, watching from Akuse in the eastern region. Mr. Belfi, we are grateful that you are part of the show today. NDC Diaspora Union, good show. Please ask him to put out the prices on their facility. Okay, watching from Amsterdam, Holland. I would ask him, well, the prices differ, but he will have something to say. Asempahini says, watching and listening to you from Achen Hima in the eastern region. Asempahini, we are grateful that you are part of the show this evening. Nanata from greetings from totally northern region and Sakina Information Center listeners. Good. Robert says, watching you from Paris, France. Please ask him how trustworthy is his company and which communities can their buildings. Okay, he's already answered, I think, this past question, where they can be located or some of their buildings can be located. But the issue of trustworthiness, I would ask him. Good evening, watch Patience, Patience, grateful once again. Good evening, watch from Hamburg, Germany. I saw the advertisement on social media. Dr. Jerome is asking all the good questions. Very grateful, Patience, that you are part of the show. Ghana in fear. All the good buildings are in Accra and Kumasi. When will it reach us in the rural areas? Watch from Bosonso in the Tiakwa South District. Well, yeah, already his company has already started some job in the rural area, so definitely your share will come very soon. Kwekuyebu says, how does he see most structures in rural? How does he see most structures in rural Ghana? Watching from Suhum, the eastern region. Okay. Okay. I think Kweku Adi says, watching from Amsterdam, Holland. Wonderful. There was another question. Maybe we in the diaspora need your kind of business to give us the direction we should go. Come up into the show, watching on YouTube from Lisbon, Portugal. Maybe definitely he will come on the show again. Fans TV, Apple Senor, you are doing well for yourself and Mother Ghana. Yeah. Freeman says a very good, very much educative program. Watching from Antonia Ho. Freeman, we are grateful that you're part of the show. Osei Superior, oh, it's been a while. Please ask him, do they also face problems with land buying? Okay. Yeah, land acquisition, definitely. Oh, Emma David says, good evening, Dr. Kwan. A question for your guest, please. Does your company finance private buildings on hired purchase basis? Okay, I would ask him when he comes back. Oh, my good friend, Nyame, the popular tea seller, I suppose. Good evening, Doc. This your topic is beyond me. So let me greet you and listeners to the show. Greetings for Encounter the OT region. I'm the popular tea seller. I know, we know very well. It's not beyond you. Just be part of it. Great NDC for Ghana, Jacob Blessing. Okay. So this is my view coming to you live on today's Ghana News TV. We're looking at rural housing in Ghana, and my host, the guest for this evening's show, is Mr. Mauli Senyo, who is the CEO of SENCO Global Developers Limited. My brother, you're most welcome back. There were a few questions that came up, and I think we'll start from the last question in particular. If you are able to finance private requests on is it hired?
Yeah, private houses on high purchase.
High purchase, yeah.
Yes. What basically he's trying to say is that whether we can build for them on their land, then they pay in installment. That is what he's trying to say. Yes,
okay.
We do that. You know, the challenge in that particular one is when you build a house on a land that is owned by somebody and the person defaults in payment, it becomes very difficult for you to be able to sell that property and recoup your money. Now, what we do is that if you have your land and you want us to build on it for you so that you pay us in installments based on agreed payment plan, what we have to do is to sign an agreement. Then that agreement will form a basis for which the land's title will be transferred into the name of our company. Once that is done, we can now put up the building on the land for you. And then after you have finished paying for the land, then we transfer the building and the document back to you. The reason is that when we invest, when you look at, for example, maybe the cost of the land is 100,000 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, the investment we have made on the land to put up the building is maybe 500,000 Ghana cedis. Clearly, it means that our investment on the land is bigger than your investment. But when the land is not in our name and we want to sell the property, we find it difficult because we can't take the building from the land, away from the land. So the best thing is that we will request that if truly you want us to go into that business, then you have to transfer the name, the title into our name. And there's always a clause in the agreement which also gives us a timeline to which we have to deliver. If we fail to deliver within the stipulated timeline, the property and the land and whatsoever revert back to you. Now, the basis for the transfer is the agreement we are going to sign, which a copy will have to be deposited at Lands Commission, so that in the event that we default, we are unable to meet the target, that clause that is in the agreement is triggered, and the Land Commission can expunge the name expunge the title from our name. So at all times, you are always secure. But in that kind of venture, we are most disadvantaged. That is why we have to transfer the title to our name before we do that kind of project. But we are doing it.
I think this answer even answered several other questions where people were trying to talk about the trustworthiness of your company. But if you have a company that has this structure in place, I mean, nobody needs to tell you that you are dealing with a trustworthy company at all costs. And there was another one. If it is possible that private sector can play a leading role in social housing provision in Ghana.
Yes, very definitely. You know, when you come to the social housing sector, it is not a profit-making area, because when you look at the investment you have to make in that particular sector vis-a-vis how much the houses can be sold to recoup your investment, and then you juxtapose it with the living conditions with the people where you are building the house, is always a difficult venture, because as a private individual, you are investing in a venture that you also want to make profit so that the company can grow. So such social ventures must be a collaboration between government and then the private sector. Even if government will not be able to invest directly, government can institute a tax policy in place, which should say that if you are able to provide that kind of social housing for this community, you have a tax exemption, or become a tax incentive for you as a company. When government takes such steps, it will help increase the investment that the private sector will make into the providing, the social housing. Now, one very important thing that we must also look for in this social housing thing is when you look at even the main cities. Let's look at our inner roads in the main city. I'm coming up with an article which will be a policy proposal to any government who might want to use such and then implement it. That look, when you look at, for example, Adenta, I have been living in Adenta since 2003, and there are so many roads, interconnected roads in Adenta, that have never been tapped for the past 20 years. And when you are driving on these routes, it's a problem. Now, how can government solve this problem? Government can institute a policy that, look, in front of your house, because when you look at the layout in our cities, houses face each other. And if it's 70 by 100, they all face each other. Government can institute a policy that, look, everybody should construct the road at least half in front of each building, their building. So if this is Kosi Senyo's house, construct maybe most often the roads, the inner roads some are 30 feet, some are 20 feet roads. So government can say that construct your 70 by 10 feet, into the road. That is half. Then your next neighbor, which is facing you, should also construct the road 10 feet by 70 feet. The next person should also do like that. By the time you realize our inner roads will be tarred, if it's concrete or whatsoever, then government gives you a special design and then the engineering support to be able to do that. Then you invest in that. At the end of the day, the benefit you get as property owner should be tax exemption or help you when you are paying for property tax. Such investment you have done in making such road become part of your tax obligations.
Okay.
Do you get? When we are able to do that, we will be having a very neat cities and our cars will not be damaging. And at the end of the day, look, when you take this policy, for example, as it stands now, when even as a real estate developer, or I have a house in front of my house, a road in front of my house, I don't have the legal right to be able to construct that road unless you go and give the money to the assembly to come and construct it for you. So it is high time government begin to look at some of these innovative ways of improving our communities. So is the social housing project.
Wow. Well, at the beginning, you were talking about corruption in the system, left and right. Probably it's as a result of some of these things that we cannot see the government thinking out that way, that individuals could contribute to such development. I know you talked about your website. People will have to check a lot of things on your website. But let's look at briefly, just cost involved elements involved in your structures. Probably you can just give a example, a simple 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house, and all that. What are the estimate costs that an individual should make if he wants to go into a partnership?
Our houses that we are selling starts from 650,000 Ghana cedis, which is a 2-bedroom standard, all rooms and suites plus additional visitors washroom with dining area, living area, kitchen, and then kitchen store with 1 master bedroom. It goes for 650,000 Ghana cedis, built on a half plot. Then 3-bedroom house built on a half plot is going for 720,000 Ghana cedis. Then we have 4-bedroom house at 850,000 Ghana cedis. Then we have 4-bedroom, 1-story, which is like a story building, going for 1.2 million Ghana cedis.
Wow, that is well. These are prices that people who are much more interested will have to get in touch with you, and then we'll see. So you mentioned the city in that you are putting up at Winneba Junction. You mentioned other areas too. Do you have other locations within Accra? And some other areas?
See, one of your listeners which commented from Nkwanta said is commenting from Nkwanta Lorry Station.
Yeah.
It caught my attention because just last week I was having a discussion with my classmate who happens to be a native of Nkwanta. I told him, Evans, do you know that the houses we are building in Accra here, we can build the same houses at Nkwanta and we can get people to buy it? He said, how sure am I? I said, yes. There may be a lot of Nkwanta citizens abroad which might want to come back and then settle in their hometown. But the fact is that the notion we have normally that when you start building in your village, then you become an object that your village people will be following you.
Yeah.
So because of that, they don't want to build in their home. But when you have an estate company like us going there to start an estate project, a lot of citizens abroad would like to buy houses in there. Because when they come back, looking at probably where they were living before they are coming back home, they might want to have a little privacy. So because of that, they may not want to go to their family houses. So when you build in such places, a very modern design with a very nice facility, they will buy. And I was telling them that, Evans, if you believe in this concept, you can also become a real estate developer or owner. When you give out your land for joint venture, you bring out your land, we bring our expertise and resources to build on the land, and we share the houses. When I told him he was amazed. I said, yes, Evans, it's possible. We can do that in Nkwanta. So when the person commented from Nkwanta, I said, let me share this with you that, the concept of real estate development or entrepreneurship is just to solve a problem. Once you have identified a problem and you are trying to solve the problem, basically, and making some small money out of it, you are doing business. So for us, those who even have lands in rural areas that think that there's no way that area can ever develop to become a town. SENCO is telling you that no matter how rural or remote your area is, we can make your place a place that other people will also want to visit.
Wonderful. Quentin Nana says, all too soon our time is up. But he says, I think you should do a part 2 of this program. I was watching throughout. You are asking all the questions and watching from Warsaw, Poland. It is true. In the area of real estate or the real estate development, it is not something that you can cover within an hour. But then I'm going to plead that we have to make another time. I know many more people, like you rightly said, we have a lot of citizens up here, and then you don't have anybody down there that if you want to put up a structure, you must have a very reliable person. And very often people send in their money, they 2-3 years, they go down, they have nothing. But if you have an established company like yours, who is putting up something there that you have that relationship, and then monies are transferred to you and the structures are put in place, I'm sure a lot more people will be much interested in it. And I'm sure we have to repeat this thing. But before I let you go, there are several real estate developers in Ghana, left and we've been hearing so many names, left and right. And the people who are watching us and who are interested in this structure and going into such contracts with real estate developers to put up structures for them or to acquire structures from them will definitely, like somebody asked, how trustworthy is your company? Why will you tell them why you should be number one? Your company should be number one to be considered if there is anything at all that runs across any mind of a person as to establish an estate back home in Ghana.
Okay, thank you very much. I will start the beginning of word trustworthiness as a business that, look, we are aiming at becoming a global icon. And for that matter, we are laying every necessary structures, including how we relate to people, how we solve problems with people. Even if we have some misunderstanding with people, we explore different avenues of engaging these people to come into terms with the reality and to also understand that, look, this is the reality. Now, once we are able to do that, first of all, we are heading towards building a family, building a relationship rather than money exchanging hands with product. That is where trustworthiness starts from. Now, we are aiming to become a global icon. So it will technically be very difficult for us to deliberately, we want to maybe breach a contract with you. It might only be something that might be out of, maybe out of normal human understanding to be able to have such situation. But at the end of the day, you must sit down as a family and resolve such situations. That is one. The second one I would like to talk about is that when we are putting up a building for you, which we are building for you, we tell you that the agreement we are signing with you, we bear responsibility of any structural defects during and after the building, for you to be guaranteed that, look, when we put up this building for you, or you buy this building from us, and then maybe 2 years, 3 years, then the building has a crack. We bear responsibility. We pay fully for it. And that is in the contract, which tells you that when in a situation where you buy a building from us and such issues happened, there are remedies to which you bring it to our attention, and we respond promptly to address such challenges. That is one of the things. Like I was saying, when you give a such project to someone who is an individual by the roadside, where will you even trace the person to go and claim maybe any damage? No, we are identifiable company, and we want our name to be printed everywhere in Ghana. So we are not somebody that when we sign contract with you, will run away from you, even want to run away from going to court. And of course, we won't even wait for you to go to court, because we have many internal mechanisms to address some of these issues. so that when we are even drafting our contract, we make sure that we factor in all these little issues that might have bring out a problem in the future. And once those things are addressed, both of us will trust each other. You also commit to that agreement. I also commit to that agreement. So trustworthiness sometimes is not only one way. It is two ways. If you, a customer, you come to me that, look, I subscribe to this agreement, and you turn around and breach the agreement, you are also not trustworthy. It is the same way if we as a business, we also commit to an agreement and breach, maybe deliberately breach it, we are also not trustworthy. And we won't allow ourselves to be, our image to be ruined because of some of, little issues. We will even resolve it before it gets to that level.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So what will be your final message to our viewers? That is, as by popular request, this is just part 1. We'll definitely come with part 2. But for now, what will be your parting message for our viewers for this evening's show?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I would like your viewers to understand and be assured that when they are looking at owning building, whether residential or commercial property back home in Ghana, they should look nowhere but SENCO, because SENCO understands their need and would build a structure that will stand the test of time. This June, July, we want to embark on a housing show across Europe, where we want to come and interact with, our friends and families in the diaspora. Then they will be able to have personal, one-on-one discussion with us, so that all the questions in their mind, they can actually get answers for them. Once that is done, they are sure that they have a reliable company here in Ghana that will take care of their property. It's not only in Ghana. We are thinking of expanding our wings to Nigeria very soon. Middle of this month, we are going to Nigeria, Liberia. So wherever you are in Africa, SENCO got you covered.
Wonderful. I hope your European tour, you pass through Germany.
Yeah, sure. We'll start from Manchester.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we'll keep informing many more people, and I'm sure we'll have the part 2 of this before you get to Germany.
I'm very, very grateful to the opportunity.
Yeah, so that we can put our structures in place. We are very grateful to you today for the time, and I believe that many more people have enjoyed the show. You have shown us what it takes to deal with people who are in the real estate, and surely at the end of our part 2, and then your European tour, many more people within Europe here and outside here will want to deal with you to ensure that they have a good places when they get back home. Thank you very much, my brother. And
thank you very much.
Nice
I'm very grateful.
We are grateful too. So that has been my view show on today's Ghana News TV, and it has been a wonderful discussion looking at the real estate development sector in Ghana. If you have been part of the show, you got all the necessary message from the Chief Executive Officer of SENCO Global Developers Limited, and whatever questions that you still have that have not been answered, keep them close to your heart. We will come again your way with a part 2 of this show, so that you have the opportunity to ask those questions, get your answers, and get yourself prepared, so that when they come around anywhere within Europe, you will join them and have better understanding of it. We are very grateful that you have joined us this evening. Do make a date with us again on Monday, and this is your real show on today's Ghana News TV. A very good evening to you, and good night.
The country where I come from, the truth is an irony. Just like animal farm, justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth?